Compliant marketing absolutely does work. What doesn't work is when you try to gamify every rule.
If people, if marketers could just if they could grasp one concept, and that it would be the net impression.
Yep.
What does the individual who's seeing your advertisement, what is the impression they walk away with after they see it? Is it fast, easy, no work, no risk? If that's the message you're conveying to them, it's done.
I owe it to the industry to show them that there is another way, and it does work. Yeah.
Well, what I was saying is that what I have a problem with marketers lately is when I go through and I do a full ad review, and I spend weeks and weeks and days and hours kind of going through and explaining principles about how transparent marketing really helps and converts. And then what they do is there may be like 20 issues we've addressed, and they'll do 80% of each of those 20 issues. But at the end of the day,
it's still not complete.
Because collectively it still creates the same net impression. And you said it. What did you say about like the marketers trying to outdo the lawyers?
Marketers try to out-lawyer the lawyers.
Right. So it's funny because, some of the worst witnesses that I have when I go to trial are other attorneys or really intelligent business owners, because what they'll do is they'll sit down and they're like, I got this deposition, or I've got this witness stand. I can go on trial and I can be a great witness for you. And then I have to, that's like the spidey senses, right? Like going like, oh no, okay, let's have a conversation about this, because they end up trying to outsmart the other attorney, and it always blows up in their face. Yeah. They always step into some sort of conversation with the attorney. They'll let their guard down. They think they're being smug and they're doing it smart, and then they'll narrate and they'll tell them all sorts of stuff afterwards that they never would have gotten to. And then you'll get out, hey, let's take a minute, and you sit out in the hallway and you're like, well, you just told them this, this, and this is what they asked for. So why don't you stop trying to outsmart the attorney and just listen to the damn questions being asked and answer it?
So I get this a lot now, and I'm not judging, because I used to do this, and it's like, you can't say how to make $10,000 a month. That's an express earnings claim. Right. What if I said how you might make $10,000 a month? See, now I've added a might, and I'm not saying you're making $10,000 a month. I'll sit, and I used to do that. I would have 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years, 3 years ago, I would have thought, yeah, that fixes it. And I now sit and I'm just like,
well, you're sitting in your Lambo when you do it.
Yeah.
Well, you might make $10,000 a month.
So it was when I learned the net impression. When I learned that theory, I was like, okay,
honestly, it is. If marketers could just if they could grasp one concept, and it would be the net impression. Yep. What does the individual who's seeing your advertisement, what is the impression they walk away with after they see it? Is it fast, easy, no work, no risk? If that's the message you're conveying to them, it's done. It's done. That's if you look at the lawsuits the FTC brings or state AG's office brings, it's 99% of that is that.
But that term net impression is used by them.
Oh, all the time.
All the time. Like it's out in the open. Like they talk about it.
It's in Section 5. It's in Section 5 of the FTC Act. That's the whole concept of it, whether it's false or deceptive trade practices. Yeah. What does it create the false net impression?
And I think what my message to people has been that that's the umbrella policy. Okay, that's the cover-all be-all. So you can almost forget all of the other 23 or 25 violations, warnings that we've discussed, and you could just for a minute just say, screw all that. You don't have to think about it. Just sit back. The first goal should always be, what is the net impression of this? So when I did the webinar, I was doing a webinar for newbies, and I was doing a webinar about affiliate marketing, email marketing. The first thing I did in the webinar, by the way, is there's no testimonials. There's no case studies. There's no money. I don't ever talk about how much money I've made. I have cool stuff in there about showing conversion numbers, and I did a thing where I do a hypothetical example of how a list is built, and I never talk about the money that it could make. I just talk about how a list is built, how it's monetized. But throughout the entire webinar, I stop, and I don't let me read you a disclaimer, because I already know the people won't listen to the disclaimer, because our eyes, they tune out when we hear a disclaimer or disclosure. As a consumer, you just stop listening. You ignore that chunk. So what I've done is, instead of having a slide that says legal stuff or disclaimer, I say, hey guys, you need to have real heart-to-heart talk real quick. Like, this is what this is about. This is what I'm here to say. I am abundantly, clearly, distinctly informing you that this is not going to make you money quickly. This is not about the money. And that if that's what you're expecting or hoping, leave. Does everyone understand that? And what I find is people are like so reasonable. They're like, oh, duh. Like, yeah, like that, what you're saying makes sense. Like, can you acknowledge that you understand that? And I do that repeatedly. And at one point I was laughing and I said, I even go as far as to say, here is the net impression that I want you to take away from this presentation today. Guys, so let's summarize everything. Boom, 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 boom.
Right.
Remember my bullet points. This is what I'm actually trying to say to you. And I have found, and this is an episode that we can make in the future, but people are like, cool.
No, because they're refreshed by your honesty and your transparency.
Literally, people are like, that's great. Yeah. Thank you. It makes total sense, and I have no problem with that.
It was like something you said to me last couple of weeks where you said, when did the marketing, this knowledge industry turn into, and maybe it was during the webinar, where it turned into this like hypey carnival type sales pitchy situation where you have to get people and you have to do smoke and mirrors to get them to purchase, when instead it should be transparent. It should be, we have a product and service that you definitely would need if you're trying to learn X, Y, and Z.
So I'm going today to a graduation, college graduation. You're going to a few different graduations over the
kindergarten
next few days.
And high school this week. All same family, all my kids.
So imagine, I'll finish this example. So imagine I'm getting ready to go to college, and so I'm doing the college tour, and I'm talking to different colleges, and I end up at one college, and they say, so I can't even do this, and they're like, if you graduate with us, we guarantee that you'll be making at least $10,000 a month by the time you graduate, or you don't pay, right? Okay, so I'm like, oh, that's a cool offer. Like, tell me more. And then they're like, bonus 1, bonus 2, these bonuses collectively are worth $358,000. Oh, and by the way, if you act now before you walk out that door, we'll take 10% off of your tuition. At what point during this I'd be like, what the hell is wrong here? Like, I'm gonna leave, all right?
But what bonus stacking do you see where it's 10%? It's like, no, it's $38,000, but today only it's $2,000.
Exactly. So if that was at to just put your hat on and think, if that was going on in your life, I have to start looking for schools for my daughter soon. So she's 2, she's gonna be, we want to put her in school by the time she's 3. If I walk into a private school and that's the pitch, I'm turning right the hell back around and walking out. But yet this is the shit that we do online. And
I know.
I don't understand. I actually, look, I'm not passing judgment because I was a part of that. I'm still in the industry. I love this industry and I'm trying to help, but I was part of this. And it was like, because we copy one another and we forget how absolutely ridiculous we sound. And it's just not needed if I'm truly trying to learn. Like, I'm in a place right now, personally, where I'm like really trying to learn AI, how to use it. I'm a good student. I spend money in it. And I'm not expecting, nor have I paid a single penny to any of those, to borrow the term of one of our students in Compliant Academy, bro marketers, right? I like this. It's gonna catch on for me. But now, are there less of me customers? I don't know, but I spend a lot more, and I'm an easier sell, and I don't bother you, and I don't refund you, so personally, I think that marketers they have become so attached to these strategies because it's all we've ever known. We grew up from day one, so we are absolutely convinced that there's no other way. Someone asked me the other day, they said, why are you going back and teaching email marketing, affiliate marketing stuff? Like, that's kind of what got you in trouble. And I looked at him and I said, that's not what got me in trouble.
Not at all.
That actually isn't at all what got me in trouble. What got me in trouble was the way I was doing it. And I said, and quite honestly, a piece of why I'm doing it again, a piece of me wants to see. Because I'm out here teaching compliant marketing.
Right.
I want to make sure I fully believe in it, right? Like, and I'm seeing it. I'm doing webinars where I'm converting better than I used to, and I feel good about them. I mean, they're out there in the open. I'm like, hey, this webinar is a good webinar. Hell, my own family could watch it, and I wouldn't be at all embarrassed about it, right? So,
well, yeah, because when I had Hannah, my admin, she sat in on a webinar last week with me, and it got done. And I said, "How'd you think?" She's like, "I feel like I need to go take a shower."
Take a shower, yeah.
I don't feel. And here's the issue, and this is what it comes down to. It's like, oh, we'll be able to say this, this, and this, and this, and we'll just put disclosures on there. And it's like trying to dress a pig up and putting makeup and mascara on it to make it look like it's an attractive person. So and sitting, you know, it doesn't work. It doesn't change the fact that it's a pig, you know.
So guys, we were recording a random conversation, but this is now turning into an episode where I'm just going to turn it into an episode. We're going to talk about, does compliant marketing work? So let me talk about the webinar that we did last week. So let me get the TLDR. Does compliant marketing work? I'm being asked this question all the time. And, you know, it's a little sad to see how many marketers have already made the predetermination that it doesn't. And they have not yet tested it. Or if they have tested it, they've tested it without professional guidance.
Oh, I had a full-on conversation with this lady last week where she got on there and she'd been a referral. She'd been sent over. I think she watched the webinar or something else. She jumped in. And the first 30 minutes of the conversation, I was response blocking. I felt like I was a marketer. She just kept on saying, well, we know this isn't going to work. This is, you know, only people get sued if they have lots of complaints. And so it's like, well, no, that's not the case, right? Hunnick didn't get sued because he had a lot of complaints.
Hello.
Yeah. And then it was the next response. It was like, okay, well, if I'm not big, then I can't get hit. And I was like, no, there's, you know, this case here and this case here, the watch case. And I'm like, that's not. So I felt like the first 30 minutes I'm response blocking with this lady to try to explain to her, like, all of her perceptions about marketing is wrong. And I swear with marketers, when I go and I do a review, it's what you're saying. The compliant marketing won't convert. And it's like, that's my best surfer voice, just so you know. It won't work, man.
Bro voice.
It's bro marketers. And so,
I put my Lambo out.
That's right. So I'm like, it will convert, and it does convert. If I didn't have clients that converted, I would be a family law attorney or something at this point, because I wouldn't have any Greg, clients. You know?
Are very, very, very qualified to be a family law attorney.
Yes. I have a large family that starts with it.
He's got all kinds of kids. So
yeah.
Okay. So I was one of them. I did not believe compliant marketing would work. I have no idea where I got that thought from. You know what it is as soon as you tell me, Anik, if you're on a webinar and you cannot tell people that they could make $30,000 a month using this system. And in my head, I'm just like, why the hell would they watch the webinar? So 2 parts to that. Number 1, and this is the truth. If you're watching this is honest, okay? Have a reality check with yourself right now, because it's totally honest. It's whether you accept it today or you accept it 2 years from now. It's your choice.
They're lying to themselves right now.
It's the customer that buys on that belief and on that statement is what we already in the industry refer to. Let's be honest, we refer to them as down market. We have a term in the marketing world. We say up market, down market. You are already optimizing your business to sell to the down market. What the hell? How do you think that's going to play out for you? The down market is not even most likely capable of doing the things that you teach. I'm not even saying that your system is flawed or bad or that they couldn't make 30 grand a month. I believe, for a minute, I will believe every damn marketer out there that their system can make that. I genuinely, I taught email marketing with affiliate marketing. That shit works if you do it long enough, but you've got to put it out there. You've got to spend the time and energy to build a list. You got to get through your first few thousand subscribers. You've got to promote properly, write properly. You've got to follow up and learn. It takes intellect. It takes time and it takes dedication. And when you insinuate, and so the person who comes in, a lot of times those people are using the last dime on their credit card. They are looking to use this as a solution to pay their next mortgage payment in 30 days. They don't have the time, possibly the knowledge, definitely the experience to even get results in a year, much less 30 days. And you know that. You 100% know that in your hearts of hearts and deeps of deeps. You know that. But here's the irony. By making messages and claims like that, you actually turn away the people that actually could get those results in 30 days, that actually have the intellect, the capability, and the money and the resources. But they hear that and they're like, this is just not for me, you know?
Scammy.
It sounds scammy. Like, so the first reason I say compliant marketing works, guys, is there are 2 types. There's multiple types, but there's 2 main types of customers that come to watch your presentation. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, but there's the up market, there's a down market. And let's just say for a minute, they're equal. Okay, there's 50-50. So when you do the webinar or when you do your sales video or your sales page, the old way, the way we're used to learning, generations of marketing down, you're automatically only selling to down market. I'm telling you right now, you're selling to down market. You yourself would not buy that message because you would be up market. So if you're already a marketer making a bunch of money, you're up market and you wouldn't buy that message. Just, again, I do say what you will. All right, this is my little monologue. All right, so if I had a night Fox News show, this is my moment. All right, you wouldn't buy your own product because you're up market. All I'm saying is that when you go compliant, you move from selling this half to this half.
Right.
That's it. And your conversions. That's why I did that webinar where I taught email marketing, affiliate marketing. I sent it to Greg like literally 2 hours before I was going to go live. We worked really hard on it. Yeah, it was like, you know, and but I felt good about it. I went slide by slide. I looked at it thoroughly, and I was like, I'm going to manage the net impression. I have no testimonials. I'm not saying anything about money. I'm teaching skills. I'm talking about some reality. I'm going to do demos of things that are cool and that are skills driven. So, but he sent me and the funny thing is I was 30 minutes into it. Greg sends me a message. He's like, hey, this is good. I'm like, well, good to know because I'm 30 minutes in right now. But I went through the whole thing, guys. I had a slide that actually said, what is the net impression I want you to walk away? In summary, the net impression. I disclaimed, I disclosed, I was honest, I was transparent, and we had a mix. I had cold audience and warm audience. I made sure of that because at the beginning of the webinar, I was curious. I said, how many of you have never heard of me before, saw an ad and came here the first time? I wouldn't say it's 50-50, about 25% of the group was said, brand new, don't know who you are. 75% people knew me. And I did that webinar super compliantly. And I converted. Now it was a free trial for 30 days, then $297 a month after that, and I was super transparent about that to comply with ROSCA. 21%. I'm telling you right now, and I almost want to do this. I would never do it because then the FTC would have a shit fin. But if they could bless it, I want to.
Bless you, my son.
Yeah, just come on, FTC. Let me do one. The most non-compliant webinar, and I'll get another 500-600 people on. I forget how many. I'll put that. I'll do the webinar, and I'm promising you, we'll convert 21%, maybe less, but I'm gonna get down market, not up market. I got better customers, and so I am a true believer. And then you and we ran this webinar last week to sell Compliant Academy. Right. And I have a whole story about that. Okay, about the webinar because I wrote that webinar. That one I think I sent to Greg like 5 minutes before we went live.
No, definitely.
And Greg's helping deliver it. What was the feedback you were getting from people while we were doing the webinar?
So I got a couple of texts while we were on the webinar from some of their clients who were on there, and they were like, this is brilliant. If anything, you guys should charge for this webinar just so you can see what a funnel or a compliant webinar should look like. Because, I mean, we were offering a product and service that was there. We were marketing, obviously. It's a webinar.
$1,500 product at the end,
Yeah, so people could buy into into our academy, and they could get, the contracts and the disclosures which we have for there. And so he was like, this is brilliant. I mean, if any marketer just wanted to see what a compliant funnel will work, he's like, this is it. Yeah. All they'd have to do is see your webinar, and they'd see that this is a conversion. And it was just honest and transparent. And I mean, you had feedback. People are waiting for like the big, oh, we got you. Here's the big surprise. And it never came because that's not what we do. It's all transparency.
Yeah. I had a particular person and she's made a couple of videos about me and I love it. No problems. Like zero, like I'm all about it. And so I always tell people, I'm like, look, you may or may not like me. That's irrelevant. Listen to me because even if you think I'm teaching all this compliance stuff now because of selfish motives, by the way, I was telling Greg before this, I am out hundreds of thousands of dollars right now. We haven't made a penny from this. We have only put money into this, not a dime. Okay. So if I'm doing this only for the money, I am the shittiest entrepreneur on the planet. Cause I'm about a year plus into it. And I'm genuinely saying I could substantiate this claim that I've put hundreds of thousands of dollars into it. But I can understand a person's uneasiness about this whole thing. The FTC is very unkind in their write-up. And I think that it's a very one-sided write-up. And so, but then unfortunately for people, that becomes the only thing they read.
The only narrative. Yeah,
the only narrative. And so it's like, I am just a holistically evil man. I get all of that. So I'm okay. I get why the FTC does what they do. That's not their job to make me look good. But all good. But what I loved about this video is in the video she begins with saying, I specifically came to this webinar so that I could report back to my audience how shitty these people are and that they're going to run shitty tactics. She didn't say all that. I'm definitely exaggerating, but that they're going to run all these like tactics, these marketer tactics on us. And you know what's funny? When I wrote that webinar, Greg, there's been something different. There's a difference, one difference. I want everyone to listen to this because there's a difference now in how I'm marketing. And every marketer would say that this will hurt conversion. And for me, it's done nothing but lift. When I'm writing the webinar, and I actually intend to change some of my webinar training, how to do webinars because of this, I sit down and write and I say, you know what? Let me change my goal. Instead of the goal being to sell, let me make the goal to provide value. Like I want to serve.
Right.
So that webinar has 15 things. By the way, guys, if you want to watch the webinar, I don't know if it's still free. There'll be a link below. You can go watch it so you can see what Greg's talking about, how we delivered it. But we are going to change it. It's going to be a paid masterclass soon. So I don't know when this comes out, so I might not be free anymore. But I had another version of it, and about exactly a day before, I changed my entire mind.
No, I know. You told me. Yeah. You're like, I'm scrapping this.
I threw the entire other version out.
Yeah.
We worked hard on it. And I went back to the version that we've delivered on stage a few times, and people have been like, and I thought, you know what? They may or may not buy, but I have been very true to my word that this is about a mission for us. This is about a revolution for us, right?
Compliance revolution.
Compliance revolution. So I just decided to provide value. And from the heart. And we went long. And the webinar was like, I don't think I dropped the URL till like 2 hours in, which violates every marketer rule. And we had cold people on there. We had buyers on there. We had international people on there. We had a mix. It wasn't like our best clients were on this webinar. And then I pitched. And so I did 2 cardinal rule changes for my webinar delivery. Number 1 was, excuse my language, but fuck the formula of writing a webinar. I'm going to focus on value and delivery. Number 2, the offer. I changed how I do the offer. And I said, I'm going to get inside my client's head, my customer's head. What is the number 1 thing that they want? Just forget what they need. What is the number 1 thing they want? And in this case, it was like, they want Greg. Let's just be honest. All right? They want a lawyer. I'm glad
somebody does.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't.
I get this all the time. Like people, it irritates me a little bit. People are like, hey, Anik, is this compliant? I'm like, nope, for the following reasons. They're like, can I talk to Greg? I'm like, fudge you, dude. I'm telling you, it's literally Greg's terms. But I'm not a lawyer, so I respect and appreciate that. But that's the only 2 rules. Value for the webinar. Literally no formula, no psychological deep subconscious nonsense. I give you lots of aha moments. Be honest. And I was honest. I said, guys, please buy this. Help support the cause. Like, this is a mission for us. We need you to buy. We need you to spend money, right? I've been ending the podcast lately with I'll be like, please pay us some money, right? Like, please give us some money because it helps support the cause.
I make kids, please.
Yeah. But you know what? People get it. People are like, hey, I want to support you. I'm in. So we converted 12% on that webinar. It's a $1,500 product. And so compliant marketing absolutely does work. What doesn't work is when you try to gamify every rule. People, well, I can't use testimonials. Guys, you can use testimonials, but why isn't a testimonial that says, hey, this is a great course. They delivered on what they promised. I learned a ton. I'm really excited to approach this. Anik was great, shows up all the time. Greg was great, shows up all the time. Like, it's just great guys. And I learned a lot, and like, I support them. And you should too. Like, that's a great, hearty testimonial, right? I mean, when I go to buy, a Ferrari, which Greg and I are going to buy with all the millions that we make from teaching compliance.
Wait, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What are you talking about here?
So far, we owe Ferrari money. But when I go to a Ferrari dealership, the salesperson doesn't come out and say, hey, and I don't know anything about Formula One racing, but so-and-so won.
That'd be McLaren. Thank you. McLaren.
Right. Yeah. So-and-so won the Formula One race with that car.
Right.
With that engine. So you too could win. If they said that to me, I'd laugh and be like, dumbass, right? Like I just want a fast car. And
which freeway can I run?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to break this down to how ridiculous it is on purpose, guys, because we have built these habits. And so my monologue is about to end now. Because I'm talking to the marketers in compliant marketing, I am proving half of why I'm still doing what I'm doing. Guys, I'm not joking. There were many a times after that lawsuit that I have considered buying a Subway franchise and I'll just go do something totally different, go develop real estate, build a compliance software, chill with my kids. Part of me is like, no, I owe it to the industry to show them that there is another way and it does work. And so, Greg, I feel bad for you because I know that you deal with this all the time, and I would have been the same client 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm trying hard to get marketers to understand that there's another way, that you will convert less to that market, that down market you sell to, damn straight. But just change your markets, you'll sell higher to the up market. And so that's what we're doing. We're at this point, I'm writing a book right now. I wrote the whole outline for it. I'm working with a writer. It's called Email Founder. And it's all about email marketing and affiliate marketing. And the book is clean as hell. Like, it starts in the beginning with, it took me 18 months and I slogged my ass off. And I can help you shave a few months off, but probably not much more. If that sounds exciting to you and you still want to be an entrepreneur, let's do it. If not, return the book.
Well, let me put a couple of things straight as well, because it's super important to understand. Like, I have to overcome, I mentioned this earlier, there's certain objections I have to overcome with every client because they just don't trust that, hey, if I tell people the truth and I don't make this look funny, so there was a review that I just did last week, and the way that they used a compliant testimonial was, hey, they led in with like almost an earnings claims-ish and then the satisfaction. And so then I was like, whoa, the net impression was wrong. And they were like, but you said, you looked at these testimonials that are okay, and you said that this is okay. I'm like, yeah, but you put them together, and what does it create? It creates a non-compliant advertisement because it creates the wrong net impression. Yeah. But it converts. If you just trust, the problem is we spend all this energy of trying to fight these stigmatisms against compliance and everything else. And it's like, once you get into it, it's like that video you showed me of that event. Yeah. That person that had seen the podcast was like, we use disclosures. Should you use disclosures? And the guru's like, well, compliance is, but no, you don't have to. And then at the very end, she's like, well, I use disclosures and it didn't affect my conversions. And it's true, right?
So first of all, let's talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Sorry.
No, let's talk about it.
But it's on point about why compliance doesn't work, right?
I'm not gonna name names, and I mean no disrespect. If the person who we're talking about ends up watching this, love your stuff, love you. But brother to brother, I'm gonna call you out on this a little bit. I think what you did was wrong, and I think you know what you did was wrong, and I think that being the position that you are in the market, you owe better to the market because you lied and you gave completely baseless. You made a baseless statement that someone made a video of, bro, and sent to us. All right, and so in this video, it starts with someone saying, "Hey." And they're talking to this person. They're like, hey, so-and-so, I've been watching Ike and Greg's podcast, and they specifically spoke about disclosures for testimonials. And is it really that serious? Now, funny thing is, if you watch that video to the end,
backtracks.
I don't even know why she asked the question.
I don't know what the context
it's
was.
almost like I felt like do you work for the FTC? Like,
somebody's like, video this.
Was that
like
a
it was
setup?
a stage?
Yeah, was that a setup? Because she basically asked a question that she answered herself at the end of this whole little dialogue of 3 minutes. And the person that she asked a question to came and said the first thing they said I completely agree with. They spoke about how like every business has risk. Yep, 100%. Guys, you could follow our book. You could follow Greg's advice, my advice. And like, still, you're not. It's all about reducing risk, not eliminating it. The next thing they said is baffles me. They said, hey, see, the FTC has no problems with claims about money. I was like, well, tell me more. Tell me more. Like, sensei, like what? Where's this going? And they have a problem with time.
Yeah, the time frame in which you can get.
So they have a problem when you say make money fast.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, well, that definitely sounds very fucking profound. So I can see how that would be enticing to the listener. However, it is holistically, completely effing false.
No, because you called me after you sent me the video and you're just like, well, does this make sense? And I rattled off 3 cases.
No,
there were 3 real estate companies that were sued by the FTC. And they weren't, their advertising wasn't make money fast. I mean, if you've ever invested in real estate, you know that's not a fast turnaround, especially if it's multifamily deals or whatever. Like, it takes time. That's not the main marketing presence. It's like long play, invest in real estate, be a long-term holder in real estate. They got hit by the FTC. If it was about how quick you could make the money, then why would they sue them? It doesn't make sense. What he said didn't make sense.
Well,
she said.
Person.
He's the person.
That's fine. Again, I'm not attacking. I guess
not at all.
I actually really love the person. I love their stuff. I have deep respect for them. But I'm seeing, this isn't the first time. This is probably the 3rd or 4th time now that I have seen a person in prominent position with a following, with people that trust and love them. You know what, guys? If you don't know, I didn't know compliance, okay? But I never also pretended to give advice on it. I know it now, and I will give advice on it. I'm still looking for a hack to get a law degree, so if someone knows of one, please let me know. I've told Greg many times I would love to be his Mike Ross. Like, let's figure out a way. But I'm not a lawyer.
Come on, 2-year online.
This guy messages me. He's like, I found a 2-year online degree program. My dumbass is sitting there for 30 minutes Googling that shit, looking for it. And he was like, oh, sorry. And he's like eating a burger at Yard House while he sent it to me. So he's like busy. And then 30 minutes later, he's like, oh, dude, my bad. I was just joking. I'm like, it's just 30 minutes of my life I'm never going to get back. But
I'm sorry.
But where was I going with this? So this is the 3rd or 4th time that I've heard marketers and gurus in prominent places give advice that's wrong. And I just don't do it. Like, it's not cool, man, because you're really going to hurt yourself and hurt people. And the other thing I'll tell you is, man, God forbid, and I hope this never happens, but if the FTC does knock on your door, they're going to find that video and they are not going to like it. They found all kinds of videos. Like, for me, like, they found stuff where I was like, where'd you even get that?
I know that video. You're like, I've shot that 3 years ago and I didn't know it was live anywhere.
They found stuff where I was like, how'd you find that? Can you please send me that video? I need other stuff from the video. Like, I need that video.
You're like, oh wait, I need that section. I was wondering where that section was.
I was looking for that.
Thank you for providing that video.
So there was So the advice that was given back was about, time, and time has nothing to do with it, guys. It's a claim is a claim. They don't like claims. Claims have to be substantiated and claims have to be typical, period. Regardless. It could be money, it could be performance, it could be lifestyle. It doesn't matter. If you make a claim, it has to be substantiated, it has to be typical. And at the end, so they have this conversation back and forth. And at the end, the person who asked the question to begin with was like, well, okay, thanks. Anyways, we added disclosures and disclaimers to all of our stuff, and we found it didn't make any impact on the conversion. So I'm like, the fuck did you ask the question for then? But thank you.
No, good for her.
Yeah, thank you for
her, though,
for putting that out there.
Listening and then following through and doing it.
And there was another case in which I read a post. I remember sending a picture to you. There's another prominent person who I have respect for, who's a good person and I know means good things, but specifically said the FTC does not care. This is like word for word. It was like the FTC does not care about claims. I forgot what they said they cared about because it was a while ago. They said they cared about
complaints and
they care about complaints. Refund. They said just make sure you refund those who want a refund. Right. They care about complaints only.
Oh, right. As long as you refund people that ask.
As long as you refund people, you can do whatever you want. You're okay.
Then what was the hell was wrong with you because you refunded people?
Well, in all of these situations, right?
Fault.
So in the first one where the question was asked, the other thing that the person added was like, hey, the FTC really has a problem with those who go after other people's life savings and just flat out screw them from their life savings. So of course that insinuates in a weird way. You're kind of making an implication that that's what I did. And I'm like, well, that's fucking
I saw your offers. They were all to those, on disability and the targets. And,
yes, if you can't move, pay me $180,000 for my course. Like,
yes.
No, I never had a course over $10,000 specifically for that reason. We didn't work with financing companies. We were so strict on that. So yeah, that's kind of offensive. I don't know if they meant it that way or not. I don't know. I don't think they did. But this other person who said that was also now insinuating and assuming that my refunds were an issue. So I'll tell you what, don't take my word for it. Read my complaint. Read what the FTC wrote.
Not an issue.
Read what the FTC wrote. You don't think they inquired? The third biggest request from the FTC for my case was show us every refund request, audio, like on the phone, written, and show us how you responded, and show us if you refunded. That was, so the first major request was show us your merchant statements. The second request was show us a list of every single person that's made money from you, experts and affiliates. Third major request was show us all of your refund requests. And so you don't think they prioritize looking at that? And if you don't think if there was an issue in my company with, telling people to F off when they ask for refunds, you don't think that would have been in my complaint letter and a big prominent part of it? It wasn't, because it wasn't an issue, because we didn't do that. So guys, here's my thing. And to those of you who are learning marketing, and I would say they're brilliant marketers, obviously, that's why they've built a huge audience. But like, substantiate what you hear from them. Actually, don't listen to them for advice. Don't even listen to me. The only reason you should be listening to me is because on this book, the first name on the book is Greg's, not mine.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So if anything happens, it's Greg's fault, not mine.
Well, thank you.
Just FYI.
Thank you.
Full disclosure.
I feel like I'm at home now. That's the mantra in my family. If anything happens, it's Dad's fault. It's my husband's fault.
It's funny because somebody in the Facebook group, just yesterday it happened. Mags, I think her name was, sweet. She goes, because every post comment I make in response to people, I give my opinion, and then I say, not an attorney, not legal advice. This is just my opinion. So she goes, every time I read that, it gives me anxiety.
Oh, right? Gosh.
And I'm like, what do you want me to do? Greg's not here, and I can't. The last thing I want is to get sued for trying to help people, right? And people suck, so people would do something like that. But
some people do.
Okay, so compliant marketing, does it work? Yes, it does. My big request to you is learn from those who actually know it and have been through it. Learn from an attorney. And also, not all attorneys are made same. I'm telling you, because I saw another person that said, hey, I'm going to take everything that you and Greg are saying, I'm going to cross-check it with an attorney. So I don't want to just take your guys' word for it.
Well, I am an attorney.
But another attorney. Second opinion. I said,
Doctor?
I didn't respond. So in my head, I said, no problem. You should. But who's the other attorney? You can't just drive down the road and like pick up the next person.
There's some good other attorneys, but
yeah, well, there are.
They're few.
There are. So but as long as you get a second check from a true compliance attorney that has multi-years of experience dealing with the FTC, been in cases with them.
Well, no, this is a good point, though. You said this. I'm glad you brought this up because there is a mutual person we know.
Yeah.
And when I looked at his contract he was using with his consumers, his client contract that he was using for his clients, I asked him, I said, you drafted this, didn't you? That was a joke, but it was like, I read it and I was like, there's no way. And he's like, no, I had an attorney draft this. And I was like, this is malpractice. They had no idea. They didn't address any of the issues that I would have addressed into the contract at all.
Well, Greg, this is not me throwing shade at anyone or the attorneys that have represented me in the past, but I pay you as an attorney to know what you're doing, right? If you tell me you are an FTC expert, you're a compliance expert, and then you start signing off on stuff, I take you at your word. And so it happened to me with the past. What is your goal? How much different would my life be today if those 4 words just didn't exist in our script? And that script was reviewed by attorney.
Or you didn't have 40,000 call recordings.
Or I did 100%.
Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
When I didn't even know what the 3 words document retention policy meant. So yeah, as a side tangent, because that's what we do apparently when we're together filming podcasts, make sure you have a document retention policy. Again, something, by the way, pitch opportunity. You get inside of a Compliant Academy. So please support us. Give us some damn money. Help support the cause. CompliantAcademy.com if in case you're inclined to join us. But you get a non-disclosure agreement. You get a bunch of other agreements too. So, and we keep adding as new things happen. So compliant marketing, it does work. It's the biggest difference I wanted to draw in people's minds was down market, up market. And I'm doing it, guys. So going back to the webinar that we did, the biggest change I made in that webinar was I decided to just serve. I taught, and what I learned was for a good market, the up market, they learn from you and go, shit, I want more. Thank you. Oh my God, that was refreshing. So even the one review that we got back, I was very, very, very grateful that the person went and made a video and said, hey, I went into this webinar expecting the gotchas and I was ready to attack. But shoot, they actually did a great job and they taught, and it was a good, refreshing webinar. As far as I know, I think that person even joined and bought the program at the end. So here is someone who came in, talk about on the opposite side of the spectrum of skepticism. They would be the upmarket person. They're an existing entrepreneur. They're tired of all the crap out there that marketers do. They came in, not only were they not expecting to buy at all, they were like, I am going to be pissed off after this and talk about it publicly. And they loved it, and then they bought, and then they issued a public video saying, hey, like I was wrong about these people a little bit, right? Still some doubts about what they're doing, but overall, good. And so that's what happens in the upmarket, right? We did this event in Mexico, Greg, where I just a small, tiny retreat. Most of the people there were already existing clients. About 5 of the people were not. During this retreat, I poured my heart out. I taught. I answered every question. I was up until 2 a.m. working on their stuff. I gave so much that I physically thought there would be no reason for them to want to work with me more. I had no upsell. I've never pitched anything, didn't have anything, didn't want anything, didn't want consult work, didn't want client work, ain't got no time for it. And we had 5 of the people there that were like actual guests. The rest were people that have already joined my consulting program. 3 of the 5, not only did they buy, they like chased me down. They're literally chasing me down. Like, I must buy from you right now. They got what they needed from me, but they knew that there's a lot more and they wanted more. So compliant marketing works because it attracts a different customer, and it attracts them through value, and it allows them to make the decision to buy, not for you to shove it down their throat. I want you to remember this example every time you think about compliant marketing. What would you do? What would you do? All right. If I walk into any establishment and the person starts harping down my throat, I leave. Those pressure tactics work. I hate to say this. This is going to sound horrible, so correct me if I'm wrong. And if I say anything wrong, please tell me so we delete it.
I always do.
Yeah. The pressure tactics work on the weak. And
that's what the FTC thinks.
And
that's what the regulatory thinks.
But I think they're right.
Yeah, they think that they have to step in and protect those that need protection.
I think they're right, though. Yeah. I do. I hate to say it. I think they're right. And so as a rehabilitated marketer,
I want to say one thing, because there's a little bit of criticism for you for like, why are you doing this now? Like, why would you flip after?
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you this, I mean, because I was with you in the journey that you went through for the last 1.5 years before we started doing this. There was never one time that Anik came to me and was like, hey, I think that this is a good way to like rehabilitate my reputation, or that wasn't it at all.
No.
This is all because sincerely watching what he went through, there were moments, it was really stages. I mentioned this in several presentations. Like when a client goes through a settlement or an investigation with a regulatory body like the FTC, it's really stages of grief. They're pissed, they're frightened, they're sad, they're happy, they're like confused, they want to give all of it up. And at the end of this journey, Anik was like, I don't want anybody to have to go through this again.
Yeah.
Why don't we get together and figure out a way that can really convey this so that nobody has to experience what I had to experience? Yeah. So this whole concept isn't one of like, hey, look at me and I'm rehabilitating myself. It's more of,
oh God, no.
Nobody wants to go through this. And I agree, even as an attorney, and I watch it, it's very difficult to try to protect your client and go through this process when they're under the scope of some huge regulatory 5,000-pound gorilla, 3,000-pound gorilla that's going to rip your arms off. Yeah. It's hard. Beat you to death with your arms. It's hard to watch that. So this whole thing is inspired out of, really concern for others in this space, so that they have direction and guidance on what to do and how to avoid future regulatory action themselves.
And I didn't, so first of all, thank you for acknowledging that and saying that. I know it's a little bit hard to think that a marketer has a heart. I kind of do, guys. So, get to know me better before you pass judgment. Or don't. I don't care. know the information, watch the information and hate me. It's all good. I don't take it personally. I've been around the block. I got 2 little girls now, so I'm getting ready for all the, I've been told, prepare for the three-nagers and the.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So that's okay. Your doubt is justified, and I would say that the only way I'll flip you around is give me some time, pay attention, watch. So far, we're developing. My team and I have been developing this software, guys. I'm easily $300,000 to $400,000 into it. Now, here's the thing: will the software make me money? Will I hopefully go off to sell it for tens of millions of dollars one day or hundreds of millions? Yeah, I hope so. Nothing wrong with that, right? I'm not going to apologize for being an entrepreneur, but will it help a lot of people along the way? Hell yeah. You know what's funny? It'll help. I keep telling Greg, I'm like, Greg, I'm coming with the cavalry. I think it'll help Greg. I think it'll give Greg hours of his day back because a lot of the work that he does, it will do a big chunk of it. And so I really, and I will tell you what else has really helped turn this into a mission is the reception that you guys have had, the people. I didn't know how this would be received. Now, it's not welcomed by the top marketers. I think that the top marketers and people that are like in the top of their game, they're having to say begrudgingly, like, hey, Anik, we're proud of you and like thanks for doing this. But I think behind the scenes, they're like, how do we hire a hitman to like get rid of this guy? But I don't think I'm going to change their habits. I think they're too far gone. So I think they're playing the game that they're going to play, and I'll be here to support whenever they need it. But the younger marketers, the ones who are just up and coming, if we can open some eyes, that's why Greg and I jokingly call it the compliance revolution. It's to change what you guys are learning and to just, so this entire podcast, guys, we've talked about a lot, we've rambled a lot, but maybe showed you a little bit of our heart, showed you a little bit about what we go through every day, what especially Greg goes through. But I think what I'll change back is that if you're thinking about the FTC, I've summarized this book and other stuff to like net impression, right? If you want me to summarize as simply how to convert compliantly, I would say value, offer, time. Give them a shitload of value. Give them a great offer. Give them what they want. Your offer probably sucks. I'm just being, if you have to push really, really hard, your offer probably is not great. I didn't have great offers. I'm starting to have great offers now. I didn't have great offers before. And the third is give them time. Listen, there are so many people watching this right now, Greg, that want to be a part of Compliant Academy. And maybe for whatever reason they can't afford it right now. It's not the right time, not priority and whatever. And so people message me. They're like, I get this question a lot. And this just shows you the damage that the industry has done on people. They're like, how long will this be available? And
economics will say supply and demand. As long as there's demand, there'll be a supply.
I'm like, listen, man, we're not playing any of those games here. We will be open for as long as we know and can be, and it stays viable. So no rush. And people actually respond and go, oh my God, that was a breath of fresh air. It's like, yeah, that's okay, man. You buy today, you buy tomorrow, whatever. It's the same thing. Now, the other thing I do honestly say is that like you are getting beta pricing. So I will say that at some point we will start raising prices just because it's got to be economically viable.
Supply and demand.
Supply and demand. So,
that's right.
So anyway, so that's it. Summarizing that, compliant marketing for me, guys, I'm doing it on low tickets. I'm doing it on high tickets. We are doing it on the phone, on super tickets. And we are being very aggressive to manage the net impression of the client. We're reviewing what we're doing. All right, I'll give you one last example. I'm going to leave you at this. I want to read this. This is worth everyone, if I can find it on my phone. I'm going to read you guys a headline that I wrote. Again, if I can find it. Greg, you'll remember this. It was the one where you butchered my pay for itself line.
Oh, sorry.
Greg always butchers my copy. It's okay. It makes it better.
Don't say that.
Don't say that. Yeah. All right. Ready? So this is what I sent him. Okay. I thought it was good. I said, so this was for a challenge that we have coming up. Probably already open and live right now. Maybe it's over. I don't know when this releases. Give me just 90 minutes a day for 4 days, and I'll help you design a $5 self-liquidating offer that can scale with paid ads by mostly breaking even. By mostly paying for itself. So first and foremost, I went through this. It said, give me 90 minutes a day for 4 days, and I'll help you build a $5 self-liquidating offer. And I was like, well, we can't really build it. We can design it. And guess what? You would never know the damn difference. To a person receiving that, they're like, oh, it said design. It didn't say build. I'm not buying. Like, no, but I said design, which is true. We will design it, but we won't build it. Then it ends with by mostly paying for itself. Actually, what it first said was by paying for itself. I totally did this. You ready for this? Yeah. And he goes back. He says, well, paying for itself is an earnings claim. I said, okay. I was like, what if, Greg, I add the word mostly paying for itself? That was a joke. I knew he's going to come back and be like, damn you. So I sat there and I'm like, yeah, but self-liquidating offer, that's what it does. Like, it's so important. And then I talked to myself. I said, let's talk about how important this really is. So I changed the headline. Ready? Pay attention. Listen to this. As a consumer, listen to what I'm about to say. Give me just 90 minutes a day for 4 days, and I'll help you design a $5 self-liquidating offer that has the potential to scale with paid I can guarantee you there's going to be really no difference. So one of the core things, I gave this advice to someone else yesterday. They had a headline that said, follow my such and such and such, and I'll double your close rate. I said, dude, you made a claim. I said, do you really need to say that? Like, can you back that up with substantiation and typicality? No. Well, how about just follow my da-da-da-da, and I'll help you drastically increase or something like that. I said, by the way, again, I don't know if that's it, but I'm just saying, if you start to remove the specificity of it, which is
guarantees, the specificity,
you automatically soften everything. And guess what? The message. So a lot of times the things that are non-compliant that we've written into our copy, it's our attachment to them. And if you just remove it, it's just as good. And it moves from attracting the bottom bracket to the top bracket to get better customers. So that's it. That's my thing on it. This was a much longer episode than usual, but it started off with us not even planning to film an episode, and it became an episode.
Yeah.
So
well done, sir.
Yeah, awesome.
Compliance revolution.
Compliance revolution. If you want to be a giant, you must be compliant. Greg reminded me on the last episode. I didn't say this, so guys, remember, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. We'll see you on the next episode. Remember, if you're looking to give us some money to support the cause, go below, click the links. There's the book, there's the academy. Come on in. We have a lot of fun. We teach compliant marketing. We talk a lot about it. If you buy the book, you get to be part of our Facebook group, which is pretty damn active. So it's awesome. It's actually getting so active. I'm like, Greg, I need a lawyer from Guardian Law to just help me in here and watch over it.
Got to get that compliance summit going. I'm just saying.
Actually, that it's time. It's just time to announce that. Yeah, it is time to announce that soon. So there will be a compliance summit coming as well, which will be an in-person event that you get to come hang out with us. Can't you imagine what more fun thing could we do for 2 or 3 days than talk about advertising compliance? Yes. All right.
Hey, I have some good stories, so.
The stories are entertaining. It actually is. I think everyone enjoyed
Nobody left.
The feedback we got from the first one, we did a small one with like 50 people. The only feedback we got, which was great feedback, which obviously is going to be an upsell. So it was, I'm just joking. It probably won't be. Maybe it will be. I don't know. Was they wanted us to not just say don't say that, but then say what the hell can they say, right? So we're like, yeah, coach. No problem. By the time we do it, I'll have a shitload of copy to share on the stage that works. So love you guys. Stay compliant. All right. If you need any help, let us know where to reach us. And hopefully, if you don't like me, I've won you over a little bit more today. All right. See you guys later. Bye.